Good morning, 8th grade. We are going to go ahead and finish up section 5 of chapter 6. So at the top of my page, if you have space on another page, that's fine. I didn't. I had to move to the top of a new one. I put number 4, and we are talking about applying linear inequalities. That means writing an equation from a word problem and then using what we know about graphing linear inequalities to solve it. So you should have 2 cutouts. I've already glued in the first one, and I have the second one right here. We'll do that in a moment. And we are going to go ahead and get started. If you need to pause and glue in, please do so. So it says, an interior decorator is going to remodel a kitchen. The wall above the stove and the counter is going to be redone as shown. So we've got a tiled area and we have a papered area. The owners can spend $420 or less. Write a linear inequality and graph the solutions. What are 3 possible prices for the wallpaper and tiles? So, depending on what kind of tiles you want to use or what kind of paper you want to use, your price can be really different. You know, you can buy something that's relatively inexpensive or something that's, really expensive. And then even though the area of your wall hasn't changed, your price can be really different. So I'm going to call the tiled area, the cost of it is going to be Y, and the papered area, let me move this down a bit, the cost of it will be X. If you want to use different letters, you're welcome to. And I could have switched it the other way. I could have called this X and this Y, which I did originally, but I'll show you why in a second, why I did it the way I did. So X is going to represent the amount of money for the wallpapered area. Okay, and Y is going to represent the amount of money for the tiled area. Oh, that should say area. Area. There we go. That's better. Okay. So, whatever the amount of the paper area is, I don't know which paper I'm going to use, but whatever I do, it's going to be the 24 square feet, like they have written here, times whatever the cost of the paper is. Same thing for the tiled area. I don't quite know how much it's going to cost, but whatever the cost of the paper is, it's going to be times the 12 square feet, like they have written here. Now the next part of this, and this is where the inequality is going to come into play, is this sentence here. The owners can spend $420 or less, which means that this has to be less than or equal to 420. Like, this is the absolute biggest this can be, because I can't spend more than that. Now, you'll notice, and I'm just going to write this off to the side here, this looks very much like our standard form. Okay? Looks very, very close to it. I am going to graph this, but I want to graph it in y equals mx plus b. I could graph it where it is. Actually, I'll show you how to do it both ways. Yeah, let's do that. All right. I'm going to show you how to graph it the way it is, and then we'll turn it into y equals mx plus b and graph it that way. So, if I wanted to do it this way, remember, when you're in standard form, it's very easy to figure out your x and y intercept. Okay? And for right now, I'm just going to pretend that this is equal to 420. Okay, just for a moment so that I can graph it as it's in standard form. So remember, with standard form, you want to plug in a 0 for the x and then solve that equation, and then plug in a 0 for the y and solve that equation. Okay, so I'm going to solve kind of like 2 equations here. If I plug in a 0 here, it's 24x plus 0 equals 420, so I can just write that as 24x equals 420. And then if I do it this way, if I plug in a 0 here, It's 0 plus 12y equals 420, so I can just write it as 12y equals 420. Divide 24, divide 24. X equals, I think I get 17.5 when I do that. Hang on, guys, gotta grab my calculator. It is, in fact, 17.5. So I know for this particular line, it would be, for my x-intercept, 17.50. Okay? Let's scooch this down. If I solved here, I think that's 35. Let me double check that. 420 divided 12. It is, in fact, 35. So the y-intercept would be 0, 35. So now that I have 2 points, I could go, whoops, let me do this. Now that I have 2 points, I could go ahead and graph that. Now let's say you didn't like doing that. Let's say you're like, Miss R, I don't want to graph it that way. I want to put it into y equals mx plus b and do it that way. Okay, no problem. So let's say we start with our equation again. I'm just going to put a divider because this is a different way to do it. You start with your 24x plus 12y. I'm just going to pretend for a moment that it's equal to 420 just to make my life simpler. So in order to get it into y equals mx plus b, I've got to get y by itself. So I'm going to get rid of this x first by subtracting it from both sides. So then I have 12y equals negative 24x plus 420. I would then divide by 12 on both sides. And now I get that y equals negative 2x plus 35. And you can see, look, y-intercept 35, y-intercept 35. You know you did it correctly. And then you could graph from here. So I'm going to go ahead and graph this inequality. If you have a sheet of graph paper, please go ahead and grab it. I think I'm just going to work on my notebook paper for today. Get this out of here. Okay. So I know that this is only going to take place, in the first quadrant because we're talking about prices, paying prices for, tile and paper, and that's not going to be negative. So it's just going to be in quadrant 1, so I'm just going to draw quadrant 1. Give myself a lot of space. It'll probably be too small. It always is too small. Okay, so since my x, 17.5, I'm just going to count by 5s. How's that sound? Sound good? Okay, cool. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Okay. And my y also goes up to 35. Can I fit it? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. Oh, I can fit it. I finally made my graph big enough. Oh, it's a miracle. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, and 40. Okay. Now, I could have easily done this the other way around. I could have called this one y and this one x, and that would have been fine. It really would have. It does not matter which one you call x or y. I decided to do it this way because I knew if I did it the other way, I'd have to be dividing 12 by 24, and then that would give me a half, and I didn't want to deal with fractions. So that's why I did this one x and that one y. Okay, so anyway, we're getting to graphing. So 0.35 is my y-intercept, and 17.5, 0, which would be right in the middle, is my x-intercept. Okay, I'm just going off of the intercepts that I found, going off of standard form. Okay, now, since our original equation looked like this, okay, it is less than or equal to. I know that equal to means that it has to have a solid line. So I'm just going to grab a straight edge, connect my 2 points, draw a line right through. Just like that. And since it's less than, everything is less than, if we look at our y equals mx plus b, it would be y is less than or equal to negative 2x plus 35. Okay, so it would be everything shaded below. I'm going to shade everything below. Everything below. Everything below. Now I'm not going to go past these axes because it's not going to be negative. Okay, that wouldn't work. The last thing that this problem wanted to know, what are 3 possible prices for the wallpaper tiles? So we need to find, well, what are 3, the wallpaper and tiles, excuse me. What are 3 prices that we could have? Well, it would be anything that's along this line or within the shaded area. There's only 2 things I'm not going to pick. I'm not going to pick the intercepts. Why? Because then that means there's nothing left for the other one. If I pick this intercept, that means I've got nothing left for the tiled area. If I pick that intercept, that means I've got nothing left for the paper area. So I can pick anything in here. I could pick, let's try 5.5. So $5 a square foot on the tile, $5 a square foot on the paper. Let's see if that works. 24 times 5 plus 12 times 5. Let's see if that's less than or equal to 420. Got my handy dandy calculator, which also doubles as a phone, times 5 plus that would be 60. Yep, that would work. $5 a square foot for the tile, $5 a square foot for the paper would be a solution. Let's say we wanted to get a little more expensive. Let's say we wanted to do 10 and 15. $10 for the paper area and 15 for the tiled. So, what was I doing? Okay, so 24 times $10 a square foot, 12 times $15 a square foot. Let's see if that's less than or equal to 420. Oh, this one worked, by the way. So let's see. 240, whoopsies, 240 plus, that would be 120. Yep, that works. We could do that one. So we've got 5, 5, that worked so far. And what was the other one? 10, 10, 15. That worked so far. Let's try one more. Let's say, let me see if that one works. Ooh, that one don't work. That's too high. Let's say, alright, I'm going to spend just a little bit on the wallpaper, but I'm going to spend a ton on the tiled area. Let's try 5 and 25. So, wallpaper area, I'm only spending $5 a square foot, but the tiled area, I'm going ham crazy, and I'm spending $25 a square foot. Alright, 24 times 5, 120, plus 12 times 25, 300. Ooh, I think that works perfectly. Yep, that's right on the money. So at that point, my graph might be a bit off. That should actually be right on our line because that is perfectly equal to 420. So 525 does work. Now there are a whole bunch of other points in there. I could go in with decimals and stuff because we are talking about money. All right, it doesn't have to be a whole number when you're talking about money, but anything in this shaded region or directly on that line would work for this equation. Let's try another one. So this is where our next cutout is going to come in. I'm going to put B. We're going to glue that guy in. I'm going to pause. I'll be right back. All right, so let's go ahead and get started on this one. So it says, for a party, you can spend no more than $12 on nuts. Apparently you hate all of your friends who are allergic. They're not invited to this party. Peanuts cost $2 a pound, and they're actually not nuts. Cashews cost $4 a pound. What are 3 possible combinations of peanuts and cashews you can buy? So, I'm actually going to pause, and I'm going to have you figure out the equation on your own. And then when you're ready, go ahead, press play, and we'll see if our answers match each other. Okay, so here's what I have. I wrote out what my variables represent. Originally, I tried to put cost of, but we already know the cost of them. It's the weight that we're trying to figure out. So X represents the weight of the peanuts. Y represents the weight of the cashews. And here is the equation I came up with. The reason I put less than or equal to and not just less than is because it says no more than $12. It doesn't say you must spend less than $12. It says no more than. So it's like this or less than that. That's why I went ahead and used the less than or equal to. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and graph. I am going to go ahead and put it into y equals mx plus b. What the heck? Let's do it. So I'm just going to leave it as it is. I'm going to subtract 2x from both sides. I get 4y less than or equal to negative 2x plus 12. Scoot that down a bit. I'm going to divide by 4 on both sides. And I get that y is less than or equal to negative 1/2 x plus 3. Okay, now I am ready to graph. I'm actually going to flip to my next page because I need more space. Come on. Actually, you know what? I'm going to get a piece of graph paper. Yeah, it'll be more exact. Be right back, guys. Okay, I grabbed some graph paper, and I wrote my equation at the top. Y is less than or equal to negative 1/2 x plus 3. And I drew my quadrant 1, and that's all you need, because we're not buying negative pounds of nuts. We can't do that. Alright, so y-intercept is positive 3, so 1, 2, 3. Going right there. And we're going a slope of negative 1/2, so it's down 1 over 2, down 1 over 2, down 1 over 2. Right there. Okay, so X represented my cost of, or weight of peanuts, so weight of peanuts. And Y was my weight of cashews. Okay. So, since this is less than or equal to, it should, where did my straight edge go? There it is. It should be a straight line for our graph. So I'm just going to line this up. Straight line through. Okay? And since this is less than, that means everything beneath is going to get shaded. Okay. So then it wanted, what was the question asking? It was asking 3 possible combinations. Okay. So that means we can buy anything within the shaded region or on the line, since we have that equal to bar. Now again, the only 2 I'm not going to choose are the intercepts. And that's because if I choose this amount of peanuts, I can't buy any cashews. If I choose this amount of cashews, I can't buy any peanuts because I've used all my money towards one or the other. But anything in here or any other point on the line is fair game. So I'm just going to rewrite the original equation that we had. That was the original one before I put it into y equals mx plus b. So I'm going to go ahead and choose 3 points and see if they work. Let's do this one. This is 2, 2. Yeah, let's go ahead with 2, 2. So 2, 2 is what I'm going to test. Let's put it down here. So 2 times 2 plus 4 times 2. See if that's less than or equal to 12. That would be 4 plus 8 less than or equal to 12. Yep, that one works. So I can buy 2 pounds of cashews and 2 pounds of peanuts and still be good. Let's try another one. I'll pick one that's within the shaded region. 1, 2. I'm going to pick that one right there. That's within my shaded region. So 1, 2 is the next one that I'm going to check. So buying 1 pound of peanuts, 2 pounds of cashews, whoops, 12. This one's 10. There we go. Yep, that one works. Let's do one more. I'm going to buy 1, 2, 3. I'm going to buy 4 pounds of peanuts and 1 pound of cashews. Going ham crazy on those peanuts. 2 times that. 4 times that. So 8 plus 4 less than or equal to 12. Yep, that works. So I can buy 4 pounds of peanuts, whoops, 1 pound of cashews, and still be within my budget. So that is how you do a word problem that involves linear inequalities. Okay, so I'm going to have you guys stop here. You're going to head on over to IXL and practice doing some of these in there.